Tonight, we're exposing the DNC's desperate last-minute playbook as moving trucks circle Mar-a-Lago. Biden's team is launching a frantic social media operation staffed by, get this, former Kamala Harris campaign workers. Yeah, they're looking for jobs now. The same team that couldn't keep her presidential campaign alive for more than a few months. Meanwhile, Michael Cohen, he's on MSNBC practically begging for a pardon, comparing himself to Hunter Biden. But here's what should really concern you. Biden's team just dumped 200 pages of last-minute AI regulations drafted in secret designed to handcuff the incoming administration. The deep state isn't just resisting, they are sabotaging. And patriots, while the Biden administration and their social media armies wage war against truth, they're also waging war against your power bills. The skyrocketing energy costs are not random. They're part of their failed Green New Deal agenda, but you can now fight back. This breakthrough technology helps protect your home from their destructive energy policies. Just plug in this innovative device and it immediately starts optimizing your electrical flow, potentially saving you hundreds each month. Don't let their failed policies drain your wallet. Visit don'twastepower.com, link below, and claim your 50% discount. That's don'twastepower.com. Take the power back today. Okay, so we've got some beautiful news to report. Yes, the Biden administration is on life support. And here's some of the footage that has now been circulating social media of the moving trucks outside of the White House, taking all of Joe Biden's stuff away. Moving trucks arriving at the White House. Here's more video. Moving trucks arriving at the White House as Biden packs up ahead of Trump's inauguration. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Joe. Moving trucks at the White House. You know what that means? Oh, wait. I'm talking to the left. Joe Biden's packing his bags and moving his ass out. And then we have moving trucks spotted to begin the transfer between Mar-a-Lago White House. Check it out. There is the beautiful Mar-a-Lago. Zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. There it is. It begins, my friends. Donald Trump is bringing it back to D.C., and he's coming with fire. And Michael Cohen begging for a pardon. You know all those pardons we've been talking about? Well, Michael Cohen, he's desperate for one. He just won on MSNBC, and he's begging, comparing himself to Hunter.
Regarding the pardon, yeah, I put in the application for a presidential pardon because I believe that Joe Biden has the same responsibility to me that he had to his own son. And I would expect that the same exact pardon that he gave his son has to go to me and to anybody else that's on that enemies list, whether they want it or not. Because I assure you, solitary confinement where I did 51 days sucks.
Michael Cohen, I believe wholeheartedly that the solitary confinement was just a terrible experience for you. And I think your point about the enemies, the proverbial enemies list, right, is a good one. I wonder, have you heard anything back from the administration? It is my understanding that two things. The administration, one, is not going to give a pardon to anybody that doesn't want one. So folks who have prominently gone out and said, I do not want a pardon, the president is not going to issue a pardon to people that don't want one. But two,
they'll change their mind when they're sitting behind closed doors. That I can assure you, they're going to kick themselves in the backside for that one.
I think hindsight will always be 20/20. I guess my question is, have you heard from the Biden administration? And I am struck by your comparing yourself and Hunter Biden. And I wonder if, well, I'm going to just tell you, Michael Cohen, we're on national TV, we have a conversation. I don't necessarily think that's your best way to go get a pardon. I mean, Hunter Biden is the president's last surviving son. But your other point, why I do think is a strong one.
I'm somebody's son also, by the way.
Agreed. You are somebody's son. But, I mean, to be very clear, you're not the president's son.
Regarding...
Oh, man. What is he even saying? Oh, yeah. We found out what Kamala's pronouns are. Yeah. No, they are. And now we have this. Axios reports the DNC has tapped former Kamala Harris staffers to run a new rapid response initiative named Fact Post News. They reportedly try to combat online misinformation and respond to Trump's administration's actions by pushing out memes, videos, and graphics. Well, you guys know the left can't meme. And, I mean, why would they even try? They failed last time. And no one's going to pay attention this time because they're all losers. DNC taps Harris viral wizards for new social media push. And I guess here they are. Here's the viral wizards. These are your wizards, folks. I'm scared. I'm so scared right now. I'm scared of these wizards. Oh, my. Oh, and then, okay, so libs of TikTok. We have these insufferable people to thank for Kamala losing. Their lives were so bad that even CNN called them out. Now, the DNC tapped them to combat misinformation from the Trump administration. I don't know who this person is. So let's just hold our breath. Let's hold our nose. I mean, here we go.
Won't win. So everyone, my name is Lauren Kapp, and I ran the Kamala HQ TikTok. Let's get a few things out of the way. I've been seeing your comments. First up, we did have 2 Gen Z interns behind the account and 3 Gen Z staffers. I was the oldest on the account at the age of 25. It has been so much fun creating content for you guys on this platform and seeing all of the hope and joy. And while the election results didn't go our way, there is so much work that needs to be done. Now, I will be the first to admit that I felt incredibly numb after the election results came in. I will never forget waking up the next morning at 5 a.m. to a phone full of messages saying, "I'm sorry, Lauren." But as the vice president said during her concession speech, sometimes the fight takes a while, and that does not mean that we won't win. So now is the time to get even more involved, and we have to mobilize and organize and get ready not only for the 2026 midterms, but the 2028 cycle. I'm going to start posting on here more. I know I'm sorry it's not Kamala HQ, but it's up to us guys to hold Donald Trump and Republicans accountable, and we need to do it together.
Oh, man. Oh, the cringe is real. The cringe is real. Oh, my God. We have more? Is this the same person? Oh, I'm sorry, but I got to do this. Okay. The DNC, this is Fact Post News. Okay, I guess there's a
Let's get a few things out of the way. It's February 11th, 2024, and I just helped launch the first TikTok account for an incumbent president's campaign on Super Bowl Sunday. Hi, everyone. My name is Lauren Kapp, and I ran
Hercules. Karine Jean-Pierre, talking about the pardons. What's she have to say? Karine Jean-Pierre. This was a couple days ago. Yes, pardons are still in the news as we see Michael Cohen on MSNBC begging for one. Let's see what she had to say regarding some of those pardons. And because they're talking about pardoning Fauci. Remember Fauci and Schiff? Probably swallow as well.
With the USA Today earlier this week, the president talked a bit about preemptive pardons, saying that they are still potentially on the table. Can you speak a little bit about the scope that he is considering when it comes to that? And if he's any closer to this?
So we have been saying that the president will have more to say, more to announce on pardons and commutations. So that is, we have 10 days to go. So certainly that will be very soon that we'll make those announcements. I'm not going to get into the scope. I'm not going to get ahead of the president, but we will be making some more additional announcements on pardons and commutations before the end of his term.
Yeah, there will be announcements. Buckle up. Dr. Fauci is on speed dial. And then we have National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan claiming the U.S. is in a stronger and more secure position. See, more gaslighting from the administration as they enter the death throes.
United States. So the United States is in a stronger, more secure position, and our competitors and adversaries are weaker and under pressure. I think that's the main handoff that we will make to the incoming team. So
yeah, that's a handoff. More like you're running away. Here we have again Jake Sullivan at the White House. Wasn't President Trump's victory a rejection by voters of the president's worldview? This was just a few hours ago.
Multilateral. How do you view Donald Trump's reelection in the context of President Biden's foreign policy legacy? And how, in your view, is it not a rejection by voters of the Biden administration's both worldview and its robust engagement with multilateral institutions, which by your own admission has been a cornerstone of President Biden's presidency?
Look, I'll leave it to others to judge the reasons for why the election went the way it did. I'm not in a good position to be a political pundit up here, but I do not believe that the evidence bears out that foreign policy or questions of multilateralism were the central driving issue in the outcome of the election. American people are complex beings, human beings. We're all complex beings. So We can think one thing about inflation and another thing about alliances. And a vote doesn't mean that it's a rejection of everything President Biden has done by any stretch of the imagination.
Keep telling yourself that, buddy. Keep telling yourself that. That's the only way these guys can sleep at night, by lying to themselves in the mirror before their head hits the pillow. Okay, speaking of liars, we have Joe Biden.
The post-Cold War period is over. A new era has begun. In these
wait, did you just say the Cold War's over? What? Oh, or did he say the post-Cold War? What did he say? Oh, man. I can't believe they let this guy still talk. Just go eat your ice cream, Joe, on the beach.
Post-Cold War period is over. A new era has begun. In these 4 years, we faced crises that we've been tested. We've come through those tests stronger, in my view, than we entered those tests. Post-Cold
Yeah, we've come through those tests. A new 4 years is upon us. That's right, Joe. He's got this one also. This is a cute little soundbite from Joe.
Came into this. Today, I can report to the American people, our adversaries are weaker than where we came into this job 4 years ago.
Our adversaries are weaker. How many wars have started under this administration? How many wars, Joe? How many billions of dollars in weapons and funding have you sent overseas? Oh, yeah. Our adversaries are weaker. Yeah, ask the Taliban as they're driving around our tanks. God, what a joke. Okay, we got more. Stand by. Here's another one. Oh, yes, of course. Who can forget the greatest existential threat to humanity? This is the greatest threat.
I know some incoming administration, some in the incoming administration, are skeptical about the need for clean energy. They don't even believe climate change is real. I think they come from a different century. They're wrong. They are dead wrong. It's the single greatest existential threat to humanity. I know some incoming administration, some in the incoming administration.
Let's see what Donald Trump has to say.
And then I tweeted, have many millions between Facebook and Twitter. It's great. It's like owning a newspaper without the losses. It's incredible.
Okay. That one didn't hit that well. Okay, anyway, we've got... You never know what that Trump's going to say, though. It's unpredictable. Just like Joe Biden. And then we've got this. Oh, this is beautiful. This is kind of sad. It's kind of a sad moment in the White House press briefing room. Peter Doocy really put in his work there. And we commend him for confronting this foolish administration for all these years. And Chris D. Jackson points out that this could be the final exchange between Karine Jean-Pierre and KJP. Here it is.
Hi.
Thank you, Karine. If I don't see you again in the briefing, thank you for always. You could have stopped taking the hard questions years ago, and you didn't. So we appreciate that.
Over 2 years, my friend. This is let's say one last dance, right? I don't know how I'm going to fill my dance card now. How will I fill that void without you?
You tell me. You tell me. So
start some rumors in here, I guess.
He's getting red too. Look at
so a week.
I gotta hand it to Doocy. He really grilled KJP all these years. He did it with class. He did it with style, and he did it with grace. In contrast to Jim Acosta, during those years in the White House press briefing room, where he just came with anger and venom and toxicity every single day. One of the rudest reporters I had ever witnessed in the White House briefing room, to the point where his credentials were yanked at one point, and they had to file a lawsuit. CNN had to file a lawsuit to get him back in there. I mean, at one point, He even brought Sarah Huckabee Sanders to tears with the way that he treated her. But Peter Doocy, at least he had some class, and he really knew how to ask those questions in such a disarming way. But of course, KJP would always just deflect. And speaking of losers, we have Don Lemon. Apparently, he's pretty upset. Remember that Jimmy Carter funeral, and there was the talk about this moment when you had Donald Trump and Barack Obama. They were chatting, kind of having a little lighthearted moment there. Kamala Harris looking back, clearly jealous that Donald Trump gets to sit next to Barack, and she has to sit up there next to her husband. And I mean, it's a pretty iconic moment when you think about it. A lot of people speculate on what was actually said during that moment. Lip readers came out and said that Trump cautioned Obama that they would have to find a quiet place later in the day to discuss a matter of importance. We still don't know the context of the conversation or if a conversation ever took place. But this was enough to trigger Don Lemon. He was mad that Obama was there and cordial. Like, what are you going to do? You're at a funeral, man. You're going to pick a fight? You're going to start a brawl in the pews? But, I haven't even watched this clip, so I'm not sure exactly what Don's going to say here, but let's see.
Do you guys get what?
But I will tell you, having lived in Russia in the first few years after Vladimir Putin took power, the debates among those who sought to oppose him, they benefited him. They benefited him because they took their own fights over their version of civility much more seriously than they took the serious structural changes.
I mean, before I go any further with whatever this clip is about, I'm just looking at the production value. I mean, Don Lemon, what are you doing? I mean, my production value is better than what you're doing, wherever you are, whatever, cave you're dwelling in. I mean, you're this tiny little picture in picture. I mean, at least we can frame myself in a vertical 16:9 frame, and we have a decent square next to you that you can see what's going on. Don Lemon, what are you doing? It just shows he's an amateur, and we're the pros.
Were taking place in Russia that led to the end of Russian democracy.
Structural changes, Michael, are happening. That was right very now. Well. Stop, pause, please. You guys understand what she said? Do you guys get what she said?
What?
They're trying to make people civil, right? And they're having these fights over, she goes, civility, when the structural fabric and nature of the society was deteriorating, because they're trying to figure out like what is civil and what is not, and who should be civil. And that one side is trying to get people to be civil because of their own uncivil actions, rather than just words. So when you see something like what happened yesterday, people have a right to be concerned because they go, well, if they're going to do that there publicly, what are they going to say and do behind closed doors? If they're going to acquiesce seemingly like that publicly, then what does that mean in the broader sense of the structure, the fabric of our society?
Okay, what? Because they had a cordial conversation? What do you say, President Trump?
Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
There you go. That's what we wanted to hear. So let's put this all together. The DNC is tapping failed Kamala Harris staffers to run their social media war against Trump. Biden's team is dumping last-minute regulations to sabotage America's AI advantage. Michael Cohen is on television comparing himself to Hunter Biden. And through it all, Jake Sullivan has the audacity to claim America is stronger and more secure than 4 years ago. But here's what they can't hide. The exodus has begun. The deep state is running scared. So here's tonight's question that demands an answer. Why is the Biden administration spending its final days drafting AI regulations instead of addressing the drone threats over D.C.? Share your thoughts below and wear the truth. Exclusive MAGA Avengers gear available now at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Link below.